Howdy y'all, I'm Corey from Travel the Board. I've been counting down my top 100 games of all time, and we are finally in the top half. We're going to be doing my 50 through 41 today. Let's get to it! Getting us started, my number 50 has dropped 23 places from last year, so is at 27. This is still a fantastic game that has gone over well every single time I have ever played it. A two-player game, Watergate. I love two-player games. I play a lot of two-player games between me and Lucas, me and Scott, me and my wife. I play a lot of two-player games. I also just really like the way two-player games are made. I like how it's literally balanced for a 1 versus 1. Usually the two sides are playing differently, which I also enjoy. I love being able to play both sides of a game and feel like I played a different game. I love games like that, which is why I love two-player games. Watergate does that for me in the fact that one side is playing the press, one side is playing the Nixon administration, and that you're trying to achieve the same but different goals. The funny thing about this one that people like, I feel like if you've not played this and you see it on the table, you don't fully understand, is that there's a board and you are doing things on that board and it is very important. However, that is like 20% of the game. At its core, this is a card game. 80% of this is just a card game. But then, my favorite part about this game is the push and pull of the track, where you're going to strategically play the cards. For those of you who haven't played, there's a track where you're trying to move a piece either closer to you or further away from you, and whichever side of the table it's on, that other person has the initiative. They get to go first, etc., etc. They'll get to play an extra card, and it's super powerful. But there are times that you actually don't want to focus on that because you want to do other things. I think it's a fantastic game. I have played this game so many times. It is definitely one of my most played games in my collection. I have never played a bad game of this, and that is impressive to have played a game as much as I have. Never once has it gone badly. And everyone I've ever played it with, the moment the first game's over, have gone, I want to play this again. This was interesting. I now understand what to do. I understand how it works. I want to play again. Everyone. So many, I'm probably talking about 7 different people I played this with, and the moment the first game's over, they say they want to play again. And that includes some people, like my wife, who aren't big gamers, who she never wants to play a game a second time. But the moment we get done playing this, she's like, I want to play again. That says a lot about this game. It is wonderful. I love the theme. The theme is weird to people because it's about the Watergate scandal, which is like, it's a weird theme when you think about it, but like it works. It really works in this game. And for those of you who are political, who do like history buffs like that, then it's really interesting to play this as well. So if that little niche kind of hits home with you, this is just another reason to play this game. But even if you don't like that type of stuff, it is still a fantastic game that you should try. I love Watergate. It's my number 50. I think that's a good start to this second half of the list, personally. Still standing. Alright, so I'm going to give a little bit of a spoiler here for my next one. We're going to talk about my number 49, but I'm going to give a little spoiler about my number 48 in the sense that I don't know how it happened. I don't know why it happened. But last year, my number 49 was my 48, and my number 48 was my 49. For whatever reason, they have not moved up or down the list at all away from each other, and they just switched positions. So my number 49, that was my number 48 last year, is 13 Clues. 13 Clues is not a Sherlock Holmes themed game. But it is. It kind of is when you think about it. Like, Sherlock Holmes isn't in the game, but he kind of is. This is a deduction game. I love deduction games. I love having a grid. And you're trying to figure out who did it with what, with where, and all this. Very much like Clue, right? And you're crossing off, oh, it's not the wrench because I see the wrench over there. Oh, it's not Mr. Purple because Mr. Purple's sitting over there. And you have like hidden cards in front of you that you don't see, but you can see everyone else's cards. And you're trying to figure out what your cards are, and you're trying to figure out what cards are missing because the cards that are missing is the answer to the puzzle. I love that race for the puzzle. I love the crossing out of the clues to try and figure out who done it, what weapon, all that kind of stuff. I love the question asking in this game, how you're asking different people what they see, how they see it, what's going on, so that you can try and deduce what's going on, but you're also not trying to help other people, so you're trying to ask questions that'll help you but not other people, so you're really looking around the table trying to figure out what everyone else knows, and trying to figure out information that only helps you. And I think that's really cool to do. I love deduction games. They don't hit well with everybody. A lot of people don't enjoy deduction because their brains, it's not that they're not smart, they're very intelligent people. It's just that your brain has to click in a certain way. You have to be able to think in a certain way to be able to see the hidden puzzle. Some people aren't good at being able to visualize and see the hidden puzzle of what they're trying to figure out. No matter how intelligent they are, it's just not what they're good at. I feel like I'm pretty good at that, and I really enjoy it, so I love deduction games, and 13 Clues is one of my absolute favorites. So, maybe you'll enjoy it too. And like I said, it's not a Sherlock Holmes thing, but it kind of is. And now my number 48, that was my number 49 last year, this is actually kind of crazy to me, is another deduction game. This one is Crypted. In Crypted, you are trying to find the mythical creature on the board. There is about 100 places on the board, and they're little hexagons, and they're different colors, they're different biomes. They have landmarks by them, that different animals can go there, etc., etc. There are so many distinctive clues all over this board, and every single person at the table has a clue. You only know your clue. You know that the Cryptid is on a purple square. This person knows that they are 3 spots within a landmark of some kind. Blah, 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 right? The first person to figure out what everyone else's clues are and find the place on the board that the Cryptid is hiding by trying to figure out what everyone else's clues are and bring all those clues together to find that one spot on the board is the winner. I love this game. The theme is great. The way the placing your tokens on the board to find this thing and tell people what you do and don't know is also fantastic. The fact that you're also kind of crossing off places on the board as you go, and the board is getting smaller and smaller and smaller as the game progresses, and you figured out what this person's clue is, but you don't know what this person's clue is, and you're trying to rack your brain around like what my clue and his clue mean together, but I don't know what your clue is, and you're trying to find that place. Is amazing. And again, another game. This is one of the few deduction games I play, because like I said, it's very polarizing deduction games. Not this one. I have never had a bad game of this. I've never had a bad game in the sense that people didn't enjoy themselves. I've had a bad game in the sense that we played wrong one time and it was a disaster, but it was so funny that it's a memory I'll never forget. So like, I've never had a bad play of this. Let's say that. People love this one. I think that's why I like 13 Clues better, I think, is the reason I had it higher last year by 1 spot. But I think this one goes so well with groups and it's liked more that that they traded places. And I think I would bring this one out before 13 Clues, because 13 Clues, I don't know if everyone at the table is going to love it the way I love it. Whereas this one, I know everyone at the table is going to enjoy themselves. Like, I've never had someone tell me they don't like this game. This game is consistently requested to be brought to game nights because people enjoy it. There's a couple rules in it that I think are fiddly, and I wish that they were better explained. I actually had to get on BGG on a forum and have a rule explained to me because I wasn't super sure about it, and to this day, I'll be honest, I'm still not kind of super sure about it. But it's fine. It's one thing in the rule book I wish was a little more clear. Other than that, absolutely fantastic game, and the theme is cool. I love the idea of hunting down a cryptid. Number 48? 48. God, I'm bad at this. Number 47 is one of my absolute favorite mechanics in games. It is hidden movement. And in my opinion, this is the OG hidden movement game. It is down 17 spots from last year, so it's dropped a little bit, but I think the reason why is that, spoiler, I have some better hidden movement games higher up my list in my opinion, so this one has to be pushed down just a little bit. I still absolutely love it. Every time I play it, I have good memories. It's just so good. It is the OG Scotland Yard. Scotland Yard, I think so many people have played it. Even if you're not a hardcore gamer, this was a game that you could have played in your childhood. This is just a game that is everywhere. It's sold so many copies over the years that I would say it's one of those like next level games after Monopoly and stuff that like Grandma picks up for you for Christmas from Walmart in 2003 or something like that, and comes home, and everyone's confused by the rules, but then you play, and you're like, oh, this is cool, right? And I could see this being kind of a gateway game for the older children, like let's say 9-ish, 10-ish years old, plays this when they're a kid. They're like, oh, I like board games. And then all of a sudden they start finding new games as a kid. I could totally see that being a thing. That didn't happen to me, but I could see that being a thing. It's really fun. It's really basic. You are basically just hiding on the board and the rest of the people are trying to find you. You are moving in specific ways. You're using taxis. You're walking. I think the other way is the train. It's been a while since I played it. It's been about a year. But I love this game. I love the simplicity of it. I love being the hider in this one. This one, I don't love being the seekers. It's fun, but it's not as fun. Being the hider and just like, just hiding behind something when someone's right beside you and they're over here discussing which direction to go and which direction to look in, and they bring up the spot you're in and you're like, And inside you're like dying, like, no, go somewhere else. And then someone else will be like, no, we're going to go over here. And inside you're like, yeah. Like that internal combustion that is happening inside you as the hider. Every time someone says something, you are either ecstatic or just despair just engulfs your body every time someone says something. It is so fun. It makes me laugh just to think about playing the game. I love Scotland Yard. There's some better hidden movement games, but if you want a simple one that you can play with most people, it's really easy to understand, this is the one. Wonderful game. My number 46 is a new game to the list. Fireworks, confetti. Okay, sorry, that's over. Brand new game to the list. I'm excited about it. Number 46 is Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window. This game is... what's the best way to put it? This game is confusing in a good way because one person is trying to give clues to tell the other people. If you can't tell, I love mystery style games. I love them. You're trying to give clues to figure out once again who the murderer is, right? And you're trying to let people figure out the story. You're trying to help the other people guess the story. And again, this is a one person on one side, the rest on the other side, and you're giving clues with cards, laying them out, trying to get them to guess what's going on. The thing that I think sets this one apart, because there's so many games that do that. Everyone's like, oh my god, there's so many games that do that. There are. The thing that sets this one apart to me is the person giving the clue. There is a chance that they're the murderer. And they are changing something on the board as a lie. But they can't lie about everything because if they don't lead them down a certain path, basically, they lose. So if you lie too much, you lose. If you don't lie enough, they'll figure out the answer. So you have to find that perfect amount of lying. You have to figure out exactly what little clues and hints to change to like make it harder and land right in that sweet zone so you can win. Whereas the people on the other side, every time you lay a card down, are staring at you like, is this one true? Is this real? In the first game we played of this, I was not the murderer. That token did not get drawn. So it was a fully cooperative game. I was trying to help them. And every time a card got laid down, they were like, no, Corey's full of it. That's not it. And then the next card would be laid down. They're like, guys, he can't be lying every time. And they'd be like, but he is. This is also a lie. Like, it was constant. And like, they always thought I was the murderer. But it's just fun. It's so enjoyable. I love those like accusatory games that's like, I'm not the guy, but I actually might be. I love those accusatory games. I love deduction games. This brings those together. It's got that social deduction-esque. It's got the deduction style game. It's got the mystery. It's got the hints and clue giving. It's just a nice little mix of everything that I really enjoy. It's a very simple, very easy, and honestly kind of cheap game to pick up if you ever thought about getting it. It's not that expensive, and I don't regret it at all. It's my number 46, and I just played it for the first time this year, and I absolutely love it. That's Rear Window. My number 45 is another new game to the list. I told you guys that they would be coming. I told you the new games, the risers. I told you they'd be coming to the list. And here's another one. But this is not a new game by any means to the world. This is an older game. Well, older game. It's a Spiel winner. But I just played it for the first time this past year. And I'm kind of ashamed to say that because it's such a classic at this point. It is Camel Up. I always say we're playing Camel Up and we're racing for the Camel Cup. I know, I'm sorry. I'm cringe. Forgive me. I try. Anyway, this past year to year and a half, me, my friends, and my group have gotten, I don't want to say obsessed, but very involved in racing games. This has hit the table multiple times. We actually just played it like 3 weeks ago or something like that. Because we really love racing games. We have learned with racing games that the excitement and everything going on in them, and most of them involve like a betting or like a gambling aspect to them. The gambling and the betting, and that we literally stand around the table and cheer. Like, the racing games have so much energy behind them that they are just so much fun. This is probably one of the simplest ones, which is why it's so easy to hit the table. And it also has enough interesting mechanics in it that made people go, oh. And then, of course, you got the little pyramid for the dice, and the components are nice. The board is a freaking pop-up board. You unfold it, and palm trees pop up. Like, come on. Like, the components in this are really nice, which is funny, because if you know anything about the first editions of this game that come out, the components weren't very nice, and now they're fantastic, so they literally did a complete 180, which, bravo to the publishers for doing that, for taking a game that people complain about the components and saying, hey, we're going to fix them, and then fixing them. Like, not a lot of games do that, so bravo to them. Camel Up's one of my favorites. It's a wonderful racing game, and it's new to the list, but it's probably not new to you. My number 44 has dropped 7 spots from last year, so it's staying right there in the same-ish range. This game is probably one of the first 10 games I ever bought. When I first started learning what board games were, like in the hobby sense, and I started watching the Dice Tower, I started seeing their top 10s, Mr. Sam Healy would mention this game all the time. And it was a running joke that he put it on every list. And he loved it so much, and I like games that Sam liked, that I had to try it. He would describe it, and I was like, oh my god, that sounds amazing. So I picked it up. It's been in my collection ever since, and it will never leave my collection because it is a wonderful game. Bang! The Dice Game. It is so rare, at least in my opinion, that a game comes out, and then you get the spin-off games. You get blah, 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 the card game, or blah, 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 the roll and write game, or blah, 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 the dice game. I've played Bang. Bang is fun. The Bang Bullet Edition is a super cool thing that I think most gamers should want on their shelves just because it's so cool. But Bang the Dice Game is a better game. It's fantastic. I love it. It's a social deduction game, but it's like my go-to dice chucker. I love rolling the dice in this game. I love the Yahtzee style, get what you get type deal. I love the way the arrows work to do damage. I love the different rolls and how they are working together, and how that somehow everyone kind of knows what team they're on, but you also don't, because the outlaw throws so much like just craziness into it. Like, it's one of the few social deduction games that I feel like 2 or 3 rounds in, or turns in, you know what every roll is, but it doesn't really change the game that much. You just keep playing the games, and it becomes a shootout, and I love that. This game is just one big Western shootout, and it's so much fun, and the way the dynamite works, and the arrows really change the game, because people will push their luck, but it almost turns into a push your luck game. They'll push their luck, and push their luck, and push their luck, and then all of a sudden the arrows go off, and everyone's like, oh no. And it's insane how it works. My group loves this game. It comes out all the time. We've played it for years and years and years at this point. I mean, I cannot count the number of plays I have of this game, because it's also one of those games. It's short, it's fast, it's fun, it's energetic. You play it multiple times in a night. You don't just bust it out for one game. I love this game so much. Bang the Dice Game. It's an old game, but if you've not played it, pick it up. It actually stayed standing. Alright, number 43. We're getting into it here. I told you guys in a previous list that the Welcome to series, Welcome to Neighborhood, Welcome to New Las Vegas, and to the Moon, all 3 are in my top 100, because I think they're all distinct enough that they are different games, even though they're part of the same series. Welcome to the Moon has already been on the list. Here's another one of them. Go ahead and think right now. Do you think it's Vegas, or do you think it's Neighborhood? Which one, the OG or the complex one? For me, love this. It's one of my wife's favorite games to play. Welcome to Your Perfect Home. This game is incredible. This game is stupid heavy for the size of the box it is, because I have every expansion. I don't have the print and play ones, for those of you who are thinking that. I don't have all the print and play ones, because so many people have made print and play versions of this. There's a little ducky one on BGG that I saw that is like super cute, and I actually have thought about printing it out. But all of the actual made by the company ones are in here. I have the dry erase boards to make it easier so that I could take some of the books out. I have the extra books set aside in my room if I ever need them. Love this game. I love that it has all of the different holidays that you can mix in, so that you can thematically play it at all times of the year, and you can be like, we're going to play the Halloween edition, we're going to play Christmas, and then there's all the other ones like the zombie one and the apocalypse style one, and then just the base game is fun. I love the base game so much. Like, I love going for those swimming pools. Going for the swimming pools is just that's my goal. Like, even if I lose, I just want to get the perfect swimming swimming pools. Like, that's my goal. I love like planning ahead. I love that you're like, you have an open board and you put your first couple numbers in, but you still have to think like, oh God, what's going to come in the future? And figuring out how far to slide that bar is like so crucial. I really enjoy it. Welcome to is the OG. I love all the expansions, but my favorite way to play this is actually the original. Just like I said, the swimming pools, the mailboxes, all that. I love this game. I love that anyone can play it and not have a hard time with it, because if you screw up by putting a number in a bad place, it's not the end of the world. It's fine. Like, you just move on. And I think the powers are interesting. I think all the expansions are interesting. It's a wonderful game. I love this whole series. And yes, spoiler, somewhere up my list, Welcome to New Las Vegas is on here. Leave a comment right now. How far up my list do you think Welcome to New Las Vegas is? It's the last one of the series. Let's see. God, that is heavy. Like, that is a small box, but it is chunky. Alright, so my number 42. We're going to get into this a little bit here, because if you haven't seen already, between the Villainous games, between the Welcome to games, I really enjoy series of games that play differently, but they're part of a series, so there's enough connection to them that I have a focal point that I can go like, oh, I enjoy this game, I'll probably enjoy this game. Well, here's another series, and I would argue this is the series. Mr. Eric Lang, sir, you are a genius. I love so many of your games. So many of your games are in my top 100, including he has a 3-game series called the Mythos series, Rising Sun, Blood Rage, and Ankh. This is my number 42. Not only are all 3 games in my top 100, all 3 of those games are in my top 42. This is the first one of them. Yes, it is the one I like the least of the 3, but I still love this game. It's my number 42. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Which one do you think it is? Are you thinking? Do you have it in your head? Which one? Rising Sun. Rising Sun, I love the components. The components are beautiful. I love the area control. I love the theme. The Japanese theme to it is absolutely incredible. My favorite part about this game actually is the creating alliances with the little tokens, and they fit together, and sharing powers, and like just agreeing like, not only are we going to share powers, I'm not going to mess with you, you don't mess with me. But then you also have those people that's like, I really need your power. But he's like, I still want to mess with you. And I'm like, that's fine, let's share powers, but we can still mess with each other. And then like breaking that alliance midway. I think it's really interesting. I will say, and I would love to hear some of your guys' thoughts on this. I don't like playing this with odd numbers, because someone gets left out of the alliances. And like, maybe there's some fun aspect to that I just don't understand. But I think playing with even numbers is good. I will say that you really need someone who's a antagonist at the group an agitator at the group to really make everyone not want to stick with the same person the whole time. Because I've noticed that a lot of times is like, let's say you got 6 people, you'll form 3 groups of 2, and those people will try to stay together the entire game basically, and be like, no, we're making this work, Whereas I like to be the agitator and be like, hey, Scott, I know you've been, grouping up with Lucas this whole time, but like, look at what my ability could do for you. And then I'll literally like pitch him like what my ability can do for him, because I want him to swap to me. And like, I feel like I'm the only person at the table almost every time, literally trying to force the alliances to break up. And I think it's fun. I really do. I like mixing all the powers. I think the gods in this game are super fun. I still love this game. It's still my number 42. I just like Blood Rage and Ankh better. But so many people tell me Rising Sun's their favorite, and that's fine. If it's your favorite, it's your favorite. It's just not mine. Number 42, Rising Sun. I think I can push this one. Gently push it. Just tap it in. Alright, before we do my number 41, right here, I want to say, guys, please hit that like button down below. If you've made it this far in the video, you clearly either like the video or you at least want to support me, which, first off, thank you. But please hit that like button. It really helps me out. Leave comments down below. What is your favorite video or favorite game from this top 10 or this group of 10? Which game did you like is what I'm asking. But thanks for watching, guys. Be sure that you subscribe, ring the bell. I have so many more videos, so much more content coming for you guys in the future. But let's get to my number 41. I love Werewolf. I love base Werewolf. I love 1 week Werewolf. I love 1 night Werewolf. I love all the expansions. I love Werewolf. Werewolf is one of my favorite things about gaming. It helped get me into gaming. This is a new game to the list, brand new because I just played it for the first time this year. I really enjoy it. 1 week Ultimate Werewolf. This one is super fun in the sense of you're playing a board game. Like, it's so weird. I've never thought about Werewolf as a board game. Like, it's social deduction still, and it still plays like Werewolf. But like, One Night Werewolf, you've got the cards, and you're secretly giving out rolls, and then you do the thing. In Werewolf, you give out the rolls. Everyone lies through their teeth. You do the thing. This has a board, and you're moving around the board. And based off what room on the board you go into, because it's like rooms do different abilities, you do an ability and you can swap roles. And everyone may know where the role is, but then you can do some kind of like 3-card Monty and swap up where everything is, and then everyone is all of a sudden lost. You can strategically win this game by becoming the werewolf on the last turn of the game. And everyone knows it's you, and you can still win. It's crazy how this works. I will say that there are so much shuffling going on in this game, though. Keeping track of where it is so hard. You get the little tokens to help keep track of it. The first time we played this game, we were all grouped around, and I had the little tokens, and I was moving them around. I was like, no, this person's here, and this is here, and this is here, and this is that, and this is that, and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, we were 90% of the way through the game, and I was like, this is easy. I know where everything is. I know where everything on this board is. Everything. And then the last couple turns happened. I'm like, I lost track of like 2. I don't know what these 2 are. But everything else I know. Then the game ended. And we started flipping over things. And I started comparing where my stuff was. No. I got like not a single thing right. So I lost, of course. My brain oozed out of my ears. Literally, I don't know if I've seen some of my friends laugh that hard in my entire life, because I was clearly I was a broken man, because the confidence I had was absolutely insane. That I went over to, we were sitting at a table, I went over to the stairs across the room and just melted onto them in just pure anguish of how bad I messed it up. And I don't think I've seen some of my friends laugh that hard in my entire life. They were in tears just watching me. That memory alone is enough for this game to just skyrocket my list. And I love Werewolf. 1 week is a fantastic version. If you've not tried it and you've ever thought about turning Werewolf into like a board game, which is weird, try this one out. That's 41. That's the end of this list. And that does it for this list. I told you guys new games were coming, and this 10 alone, we had 3 brand new games. All the other 7 still dropped, though, but we had 3 new games. I told you they were coming. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget my top 30. My friends Scott and Lucas are going to be joining me, and they're going to be doing their top 30 as well. We've got a special coming for the top 10 down the road. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!